So I said, I got a guest today, and she's super dope. I'm very excited to be talking to you. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. But, it's been a minute since I've been in front of a mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably the last time that I was in front of a mic for my own podcast was the recordings that we did, I think, at Cat's house with me and Charmaine, which are episodes that will lead off my season 2. But I did those last year. This is the first time I'm recording in 2023. It's March.
This is March 2023.
It is March. It's an old March too. It's like the 18th. It's crazy.
It's the end. Don't say old. It's the end. It's nearing the end of its life. But I appreciate that I am the one that could bring you out of, what is the hiatus?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hiatus. It's a bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
I think that first, introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are, what you do, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So my name is Alyssa. I am in the nonprofit sector. So currently in school to get my nonprofit administration degree. Super excited about that. I'm ready to be done. So there's that. I also own a business, Earth Scale Wellness. So
turn up on the Earth Scales.
Woo, woo, you know what I'm saying? We got the earth around us.
Yeah, see, this is new. I don't really be doing a whole lot of the green stuff.
You need to utilize.
Kat has been trying to get plants in our podcast forever. Right?
So why are you running from that?
I'm not anti-plant. I just
Seems like it.
Funny story, right? Charmaine has a friend, really good friend. She's my friend now too. Shout out to the homie. She takes care of plants. She loves plants.
Good.
And as an act of friendship, I'm assuming, she brought Charmaine a piece of one of her plants.
Yeah.
It's small, replotted.
Yeah.
And she was very excited to share this with us. This made me upset.
Why did?
Because it's like dropping off a kid that I didn't ask for.
But this teaches you.
No, I didn't ask for the lesson though.
No.
You see what I'm saying? You dropped off a responsibility to me, and we didn't even discuss it. And now,
okay, that's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
a little... I love her, but it was just now when this plant dies, does that mean our relationship is over? You know what I'm saying? Because this plant is gonna die. It's gonna happen.
Why does that have to be its fate?
Bro, I got ADHD. I'm struggling most days to stay focused on making sure that Charmaine has what she needs and I have what I need. You know what I'm saying? And I forget that the plant exists if I can't see it.
Wait a minute. See, okay, because my friend did the same thing. Her name is Beba. Shout out to Beba. She propagated. I think that's how you say it.
Propagated.
Yes.
See, that sounds worse.
No, but it's not. So she propagated a plant for me. And it's a succulent. I love succulents. I have a few, and I love them.
These are the ones that is really hard to kill, right?
Are you good at killing them? Is the question.
Yeah, I'm actually, because I've had a couple.
Succulent?
Yeah. Somebody sent me a succulent. I feel like there's a lot of judgment right now, and I'm trying to just share my life with you. Okay,
okay.
Listen,
go ahead.
I'm just trying to share my life with you.
Yeah.
So, as a work anniversary present, someone sent me a succulent, right?
That's cute.
It is. It was very nice looking, but I forgot it was in the box. So I didn't fully unpack the entire box, and I saw that there was a succulent in there, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and I closed the box. And because I closed the box, I forgot it was in there. A couple months passed. I go back to the box, the succulent's dead. And I realize that it is very difficult to kill a succulent.
You gotta water it once a week. That's it.
It was dead, bro. It was dead.
So what has me is you saw it in the box and you said, cool beans. Closed it and never returned.
So again, I'm realizing that I have a problem. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. In a lot of real ways. You know what I mean?
So I was actually doing some research on that. I think it's called object permanence or impermanence.
Yeah.
Something
yeah,
along
yeah.
those lines. And basically, it's just that. So if Dylan is not in my face, I'm not going to say I don't care about him or, you know what I'm saying? But until he hits me back up again,
No,
he just
that's a fact.
exits my mind.
And so like this is a feature of the relationship with me and Charmaine that like I enjoy so much because we both have like ADHD light. I like to call it.
Light.
It's light. You know what I'm saying?
Sugar free.
It's sugar free. It's diet. You know what I'm saying? Like it exists, but like not really. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But like so when I go out of town, like we don't talk to each other.
Yeah, no, but
Like
literally
at all.
No, but literally, and it's no disrespect.
No disrespect. Nobody's upset about it.
Yeah.
Like if you don't hear from me for a few days, I forgot you existed because there was a lot that was going on. You know what I mean?
Actually, a thing though.
And it's great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then we come back together. It's like, oh, I love you so much. You know what I'm saying? It's great, but like, you don't really exist.
I think that's cool though that you guys have that understanding because some people really do get very offended by it. Like
I've
I
heard
from you in like 3 weeks. I'm like, yo, like I don't even know where my slippers are.
Like I need you to chill, bro. I really need you to chill. Could you tell me a little bit more about Earth Scale? Because we got off on a tangent.
I'm sorry.
No. That was my fault. I completely got in there.
Case
was like,
in point. No, case in point. Yes, so Earth Scale Wellness is an herbal wellness brand, and we specialize in creating herbal blends to help support the body naturally. So my most popular blend is the Smoker's Blend. So that is an all-encompassing lung support tea. So basically, it's filled with a bunch of expectorants, which are herbs that serve to kick all the mucus out of your system. Like, kick it.
wow.
Like, with a hard shoe. And so
okay. So let me tell you how embarrassed I am in this current moment.
why you
So like I need to hide my face.
Yeah.
Very embarrassed because for the last like 2, maybe 3 showcases that Charmaine has had.
I've been there.
Shout out to Main Attraction Dance.
Shout out to Charmaine.
Like the boss lady, love her.
Boss lady.
So you have been a vendor there.
I have. And you've come over to my table, so don't say what I think you're about to say.
I've come to the table, right? Had no idea what you actually did. No joke.
So here's the thing.
I knew that there was like something there. Like you're cool, we talk, but like
You didn't even look down at the table.
I never looked down, bro. Like I knew the name of the company, like, and I knew that people flocked to your table and like bought stuff in droves. I'm like, she must be doing very well. But it never dawned on me to like come over and say, hey man, what are you selling? I love tea. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a thing for me. And I never even embarrassing.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No. I literally do the same exact thing. Like it'll be right in front of my face. And for some reason, like my brain doesn't tell me to focus on everything else you got going on. Yeah. So when I'm talking to you, I'm like, how you doing? You're like, I got this going on, this, and this. And for some reason, it just doesn't retain. It don't stick.
Right.
So then later, I'm like, oh, wait, what is that again? Like, I've done that to Kat so many times where she's like, oh, this is her name. And I'm like, cool. Wait, who? And she's
and
like,
be telling you a whole story, like a life story, and like, I'm with you in the moment.
Yeah.
This is why I'm very good at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
I'm amazing at keeping secrets.
Because you just forget.
Because I forget, bro.
Like when I see you again.
Forget. Like, and it's like, I was really telling you and struggling with this thing, and you tell me like your life secret. I'm like, I'm in it with you. I really am. And it's not like a joke. But then like you come back and like you try to remind me of a thing. Yeah. And I have to like really struggle to kind of remember what you're talking about. Because in my mind, when you told me, you meant for me never to speak of this again to anyone else.
That's real though.
You know what I'm saying? And so
That's
like,
real.
I take not speaking to it to anyone else to include me. And so like, I forget it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a thing that I retain. You know? Because you don't want me talking about it with me, because if I'm talking about it with me, I'm an outward processor. So I'll end up talking to someone else about it because I'm thinking about it.
I can appreciate that you know that about your process. Mm-hmm. I think I'm a great secret keeper because, like, I'll hear something that you said, and I'll put it in this special compartment in my brain So there's this file cabinet of things I've accumulated about Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
But in this file cabinet, this is not to be opened by anyone except he and I, and he is not to, or no one is meant to open it but him. So I'm not going to bring your secret up until you mention it in conversation, but it's never going to be like remember you told me that one time?
Right. Like that it slips out in front of a group of people?
That's so disrespectful.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll never speak to them again.
Terrible.
Never.
It's kind of an occupational hazard as well, like, because, like, I'm a pastor, so, like, people expect for me to, like, hold their life. You know what I'm saying?
So, okay.
Go ahead. No. Cook.
Okay. Can you touch on that a little bit more? Because I feel like people find safety in people like you and people with your occupation. And so they often substitute that for actual therapy. And they don't want to, like, I'd say they trauma dump. And that's not fair to you either. But that takes a little bit of self-awareness and, like, you know, some self-restraint to be able to catch yourself in doing that. So how do you navigate that? Because I assume, well, again, you just said once they leave your side, it leaves your mind.
Yeah.
So it's not.
I mean, I think
burden.
that's probably like that's a bit of hyperbole, right? When I say it leaves my mind, it's not something that I think about, right? I think I do have, like everyone else, triggers. Does that make sense? And so, like, I would say that, like, you should not be doing the occupation that I'm doing without a therapist.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But the people that we serve sometimes can't afford therapy.
Right.
Or it's not accessible or readily accessible.
Right.
And so there has to be, and then therapy is different than what I do because I'm going to come to you from a spiritual perspective, right? I'm going to come to you in a way where, like, I'm praying for you. And so, like, my therapist taught me about my scope of ability. And so once something gets outside of my scope, I recommend to a person who I think would be helpful. And so, like, if you and I are talking and I'm hearing things that are concerning that I know that, like, I don't really have the ability to help with, I recommend a therapist. But I never recommend a therapist unless I can support you in finding one, right? Because I know how difficult that process is, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give you resources and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, trauma dumping is good for the soul. And, right, so the scripture tells us that we are to share in each other's burdens, right? And so, like, it's part of what it means to be a believer to, like, share in that, you know, with a person and for you to mourn and grieve and, like,
community.
Yeah. But it's important that I have somewhere to go in order to get rid of it. So, right, like, there are people who have been in my occupation who didn't have a therapist, right? Or wasn't, like, talking to anybody about it regularly. And, like, yeah, there's a high suicide rate amongst pastors. There's a high.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Alcoholism is huge, right? Like, when you're seeing pastors fall, right? When they're making decisions that are like, he cheated on his wife or she cheated on her husband, or, you know what I mean? There was some, like, impropriety that happened. Typically, that's an outpouring of undealt with trauma from probably not them, but what's been dumped on them and the pressure it is to hold it, right? And I'm not suggesting that, like, it's okay that they're doing these things, but I'm saying where it's coming from so that you know what I'm saying? Like, so folk understand. So, like, that's how I deal with it. Like, my therapist, obviously my wife is a counselor. The bishop who covers me, Bishop Paramore, by trade is a counselor. Like, and so they take mental health very, very seriously.
That's good. That's very.
And so I'm insulated in that way that, like, if I'm off or if there's been something too much, like, even our church we value it, and so like it's like, all right, it's time for Dylan to take a break.
Yeah.
Right. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's a beautiful setup.
I think too, the position you take when you do speak to others, like we spoke about this, was it yesterday, the day before that? You know,
They run together on
whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You same diff. And you had said that you are not to be anyone's father. I'll be your big brother. And I feel like that alleviates a lot of pressure to say the right thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're not putting yourself in a position to be the all-knowing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that makes it easier on, other people to come to you. Because big brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, you take yourself out of the authoritarian position. And also for you, because there's no pressure for you, again, to be the professional.
Yeah.
You know?
Like it is, in the role of like big brother, I think that like there's a responsibility to know more, but not to know all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, and we can get into this at another time, but like there's scripture talks about like spiritual parents and stuff like that. Like Paul discusses like father figures and things like that, and being someone's father figure. I tend to agree more with Jesus and being my like older brother. Like we're brothers and sisters in Christ and that kind of thing. And so I guess the final thing that I would say to that, when it comes to like being a brother in the faith, is that like it also puts me in a position where I get to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where I get to like live life with you. You know what I'm saying? And like we can be friends. It's like you're never really truly friends with your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like they have their own friends. But like with your siblings, at some point you wake up and like they're okay. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're right, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And you know, you have some shared experiences together, and like you trust that person, and like that's my goal when I'm pastoring. You have any thoughts about that? Last final few thoughts.
I think you do a very good job at that.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't.
You know.
Don't
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I know that anything you say, it's always from a place of love or at least concern. And if you can't extend that, you just won't show up.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Oof. That took a roller coaster. This is back in there. So I think that like I appreciate that. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna come back with another one.
All right.
We out.